Hello students, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing good. In the previous video, we saw about five kingdom classification and how different living organisms are classified into five different kingdoms. Today, we are going to focus on one particular kingdom, that is Plantae. So, we are going to start with classification of plants. But before that, I'll just give you a quick recap of different kinds of organisms. So, let us start. So the chapter's name is classification of plants, right? Now, in five kingdom classification, we have divided the living organisms into five different kingdoms, right? That is Monera, Protista, then Animalia, Plantae and Fungi. Now, how this particular system is there, we'll just have a look. Living organisms are of two types based on the type of cell they have, whether they have prokaryotic cell or they have eukaryotic cell. The organisms which are belonging to prokaryotic are put in one particular kingdom, that is Monera. Then in eukaryotic, whether the organism is unicellular or multicellular. Unicellular means made up of single cell. Uni means one, okay. All those organisms who are unicellular, eukaryotic, they are put into Protista. Then those organisms which are multicellular and eukaryotic, they are again of two different types, whether they have cell wall or they do not have cell wall. Now if they do not have cell wall, they are put into kingdom Animalia, and if they have cell wall, again they are of two types, whether they can produce their own food or not. So though they are autotrophs or they are heterotrophs. Based on that, they are put into Plantae and Fungi, because plants are autotrophs and fungi are heterotrophs. Followed, students? Moving on to the characteristics of kingdom Plantae. Now this includes all the autotrophic living organisms having eukaryotic cells with the cell wall. Followed, all the plants have cell wall and they are eukaryotic cells. What do we mean by eukaryotic cells? Eu means true and karyon means nucleus. So these cells have true nucleus. What do I understand by true nucleus? This nucleus is membrane bound, means the nucleus is surrounded by a nuclear membrane. Membrane is just a cover like structure. Followed, and all the different cell organelles like chloroplast, then ribosomes, right? They are all present in the cell. That is what is called as eukaryotic cell. These plants are autotrophic. Auto means self and trophic means nutrition. So they are capable of making their own food by performing photosynthesis. Photo means light and synthesis means to produce. So they can produce their own food using light energy which they derive from sun, and which with the help of chlorophyll. What is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a green colored pigment which can absorb that sunlight and help in performing the photosynthesis, right? Where is chlorophyll present? It is present in the chloroplast. What is chloroplast? It is a cell organelle which helps in performing photosynthesis. Please students, take down the meaning of these terms very carefully so that at the end of the chapter you will have no problem in understanding it. Now, these living organisms which belong to kingdom Plantae, they are the source for food to all the other living organisms present on the earth. We are also dependent upon plants. Animals are also dependent upon plants. Followed, students? Now, on what basis are we classifying these plants? So, presence or absence of organs, presence or absence of conducting tissues, whether they have xylem or phloem or not. We will see what exactly they are. Whether they have seeds or not. If they have seeds, whether these seeds are present inside the fruit or these seeds are just present as it is, naked seeds. On the basis of that, we are classifying them. And also, whether in the seeds how many cotyledons they have. I'll tell you what exactly cotyledons are as we look into the different types of plants throughout the chapter. Followed? Now moving on to the next. At higher level, how do we classify these plants? So, presence or absence of flowers, fruits and seeds. Plants are classified as cryptogams and phanerogams. We will look into this particular in detail, right? What are cryptogams and what are phanerogams? Depending upon whether seeds are enclosed within a fruit or not, phanerogams are also classified as gymnosperms and angiosperms. Then angiosperms are further classified as monocots or dicots depending upon the number of cotyledons in the seed. Followed, these characteristics are considered for classifying the plants at higher level. So, let's see how Kingdom Plantae is classified. Kingdom Plantae is subdivided into two subkingdoms, that is cryptogams and phanerogams. Cryptogams is again divided into three divisions, that is Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Subkingdom phanerogams is again divided into gymnosperms and angiosperms. Angiosperms again is divided into monocotyledons and dicotyledons. So let's take a look. Plantae divided into two subkingdom, cryptogams and phanerogams. Cryptogams again divided into three divisions, Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Phanerogams again divided as gymnosperms and angiosperms. And angiosperms again divided as monocotyledonous and dicotyledonous. Followed, students? Now let's start with cryptogams, subkingdom cryptogams. Now these plants reproduce by spore formation. They reproduce through a very special cell which is called as spores. Okay. They are called as cryptogams because their reproductive organs cannot be seen. Cryptos means hidden, something which cannot be seen. And gams means reproductive organs. Since their reproductive organs are hidden, they are called as cryptogams. They are divided into three divisions. Let us start first with Thallophyta. What are the characteristics? These plants grow in water, right? Now here these plants do not have specific parts like root, stem, leaves, flowers, but still they are called as plant. Why? There is a reason for it, because they show presence of chlorophyll. Followed, why still they are called as plant? Because they show presence of chlorophyll. And where is chlorophyll present? It is present in the chloroplast. Now, all these plants, they are algae, right? And they are of different types. They may be multicellular, unicellular, microscopic algae, for example Eulothrix. Then they can be large algae also. Followed, for example Spirogyra, Eulothrix, Sargassum, Ulva, etc. Okay, they may be living in fresh water or saline water, depends. Saline water will be salty water basically. These plants' body is soft fiber like. Okay. Now few fungi like yeast and molds which do not have chlorophyll, they are also included in this group because they are autotrophic. Followed? Moving on to the next, that is Bryophyta. These group of plants is called as amphibians of plant kingdom. Amphi means both. Okay. Now why it is called as amphibian? Because they can grow in moist soil and they need water for reproduction. So basically they need two places. One is soil and another one is water. Right? For example, frog. It can live on land as well as in water. So Bryophyta basically is a group of plants which is called as amphibian of plant kingdom. These plants are thalloid, multicellular and autotrophic, means they can make their own food, and they also reproduce by spore formation just like Thallophyta. Now their body structure is flat, ribbon like long, and they do not have true roots, true stems and true leaves. Followed? Please pay attention to the word true roots, true stems and true leaves. Whereas in Thallophyta, there was no structure as roots, leaves and stems. Here they have such structures, but they are called as stem-like, leaf-like and root-like. Roots-like are called as rhizoids. They do not have any specific tissue which can help them conduct food and water. For example, moss, which is also called as funaria, Marchantia, Rixia, you will see it growing on the rocks, and Anthocerus. Followed, students? Moving on to the next division, that is Pteridophyta. Now in the previous two divisions we saw that they do not have true roots, true stems, true leaves. In Thallophyta they don't have stems, roots and leaves, whereas in case of Pteridophyta they have well developed roots, well developed stem and well developed leaves and separate tissues for conduction of water and food. But these plants do not have fruits. They will also reproduce with the help of spores, which are formed at the backside or posterior surface of the leaves. Examples are ferns like Nephrolepis, Pteris, Marsilia, etc. Followed, students? Now these plants have a very special characteristic that asexually they reproduce by spore formation, but they can also reproduce sexually by zygote formation. Followed, also they have well developed conducting tissues. Followed, students? So this finishes 3 divisions of cryptogams. Now moving on to the next, that is phanerogams. These plants have special structures for reproduction and produce seeds. That is why they are called as phanerogams. Cryptogams, the reproductive organs were hidden. Here the reproductive organs are not hidden. Followed, in these plants, after the process of reproduction, seeds are formed which contain the embryo and stored food. So seed is a source for food, so that new plant can be formed out of the seed. Followed. Now depending upon whether these seeds are enclosed in a fruit or not, whether fruits are present or not, on the basis of that they are divided into gymnosperms and angiosperms. Followed, students? Then next, in phanerogams we are going to start with gymnosperms first. What gymnosperms are? They are not having fruits, right? Means their seeds are not present inside the fruits. Their seeds are just present naked. You can see their seeds with naked eyes, okay? Whereas in other plants like angiosperms, it is present inside the fruit. For example, mango. Gymnosperms are mostly evergreen, perennial and woody plants. Their stems are without the branches. You can see they are just, their branches is, all the leaves are coming out like a crown on the top of the stem. These plants will bear male and female flowers on different sporophylls of the same plant. Following, students, there is present of a structure which is called as sporophyll. On that, different male and female flowers will be present, say on the same plant. Seeds of these plants do not have natural coverings. That is, these plants do not form fruits and are therefore called as gymnosperms, because gymnos means naked and sperms is standing for seeds. So naked seeds. Followed. Example, Cycas, Piscia, which is also called as Christmas tree, Thuja and Pinus. Moving on to the next, that is angiosperms. The flowers these plants bear are their reproductive organs. For example, hibiscus, right? These flowers developed into fruits and seeds are formed within the fruits, means inside the fruits. Thus, their seeds are covered and that is why they are called as angiosperms. Angios means cover and sperms stands for seeds. So, covered seeds. In what they are covered? They are covered in a fruit. These plants whose seeds can be divided into two equal halves. Now see again. As we saw already that gymnosperms is not further divided, but angiosperms is again divided into two types depending upon whether its seed can be divided into two equal halves or not. If the seed can be divided, then it is a dicotyledonous plant. For example, chickpea. You can divide chickpea into two different cotyledons, right? Also, few plants like rice, you cannot divide a morsel of a piece of rice into, or a grain of rice into two different halves or two equal halves. That is why it is a monocotyledonous plant. Followed, monocotyledon. Mono means one, di means two. If they have two cotyledons, then dicots. If they have one cotyledon, then monocot. So let's see how they are different. In case of dicotyledonous plants, there are two cotyledons. Cotyledons means part of seed, okay, which nourishes the new growing plant. In case of monocotyledon, there is single cotyledon. In case of dicot, the roots are well developed and shows primary root system. Whereas in case of monocots, the roots are very fragile and they are fibrous roots. In case of dicot, the stem is strong, hard. For example, banyan tree. Whereas in case of monocots, the stems are hollow, falls like, for example, bamboo, banana, and in case of onion it is disc like. The stem is in the form of disc. The leaf shows reticulate venation. Reticulate venation means, see how in the leaf there are veins arising and then there are branches arising in the leaves, right? That is called as reticulate venation. Whereas in case of monocots, it is parallel venation. On the leaf you can see straight veins. Followed, where flowers in case of dicots, they show 4 or 5 parts, means they will have 5 petals or 4 petals or in the multiples of 4 and 5. Whereas in case of monocots, the flowers will show 3 parts or in multiples of 3. Here you can see the flower has 6 petals. Followed, students? So that finishes our today's topic, that is classification of plants. At the end of the chapter, you have to take down all the notes in your classwork notebook, both the videos, the previous video and this video as well, along with the diagrams. Thank you, student, for watching the video.